So today I want to talk to you about broken windows. And broken windows is an interesting subject. It's a study that's based upon a psychologist or psychologists and police officers experiencing and noticing vandalism in a certain region of New York. And they wanted to see if they could dial back the vandalism. And what they did is they've studied and found that the windows in an apartment or windows in a building, if one was broken, that shortly after someone would come by and break another window and break another window, break another window. So this is kind of the broken window theory. And what they came up with is that in a broken window theory is that if someone is noticing, or criminals or people who have a tendency to lean towards crime, or they're open to it, they will move into a region and they will activate more crime. It will create more crime in the region, and the windows will continue to break. So, but if the window pane was repaired, or if the window pane was, if it was quickly repaired, then it would prevent this additional crime. And what I've noticed is that if you allow things in your life to go without attention, any kind of attention, then it kind of attracts to itself its own kind of chaos. It attracts to itself its own challenges and problems. And so they noticed this in the behavior in the inner city. But recently I was driving down the road. I was on a road trip. I was headed down south. We live in Seattle. We were headed to Portland. And a car moved in front of us, and it kicked up a rock and hit our window. Now, it put a chip in the window, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't like this. I don't like having chips in my window. I don't like having things like this in my window. And so I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And so we're driving, and I want to maintain a positive attitude. I want to stay full of confidence and upbeat because I'm going to speak. And so I just brushed it off and like, okay, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to go with it. And then a couple of weeks later, we're driving north. We're headed north for kind of a little day out. This is a couple of weeks. We haven't had chips in our windows in a long time. Then a truck moves over, and we were just talking about it. My wife and I were just talking about, let there be no chips, nothing going to hit our window. I don't know why we were saying. Then within just less than 5-10 minutes, a rock kicks up from that truck and it hits the window. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how this is happening, but then it got me thinking about the broken window theory. It got me thinking about this idea that something left to chaos will attract to it more chaos. And I know it's based upon the psychologists and police officers, and they validated in their studies in New York, and they said it works in high crime areas, or areas that have low crime. If you leave something that is just seems like no one cares, seems like no one's taking care of it, seems like there's no interest in it, there's no protection over it, that it's just going to draw to itself more chaos. Now, I think that this is something of a law of attraction, a law of attracting chaos, or a law of attracting positive. Is whatever you put in yourself, whatever you maintain, whatever you focus on, there's a law of attraction. And I'm not going to talk about the depth of law of attraction today, but I do want to talk to you about this broken window theory, and I'm calling it broken window syndrome, because I think that there's a person who can kind of get in your mindset that everything breaks in my life, everything goes bad in my life, why fix it? Everything is awful in my life, why fix it? And I don't want you to have that. I want you to know that you can fix it if you jump on it right away. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. Get on it right away. There was another story in Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, and you can have this. It's the same kind of theory where they put a car on a street, and the car was nice, new, and it caused no activity, no problems. Then they went and broke just one of the little windows, or like a little mirror or something, just something real small. And then over a short period of time, the car was vandalized. The car had lost it was vandalized, not only hurt, not only damaged, but they took things from it. And it is, again, this idea of someone doesn't care about it. You don't actually care if things happen to you. You don't actually have any kind of feeling that this was a violation. You have, and this can lean you into a place of being a victim. You have to have in you this mindset. And I'm going to tell you the one key right now, just the one key that I believe that is going to help the broken window syndrome. It helps you overcome this. This one key will help you overcome this broken window syndrome. I know that there's a broken window theory, which is all about the theory of how are we going to prevent this activity in high crime neighborhoods. And it's about preventative action. And I think that's wonderful. And I think that's what we need to do in our own life, just have a preventative action. But I think some of the things that we attract to our lives that are maybe chaotic is because we don't actually fix things right away. I believe that second rock, I don't believe in coincidence. So that's one of my things. One strong standard for me. I don't believe in coincidence. If something is happening repetitively, it's because I need to pay attention to it. And so I don't actually allow anything just to keep happening without me giving my attention to it. When I give my attention to it, then I can give my action to it. And so you want to make sure that you are having in your life a strategy against procrastination. A strategy against procrastination. If you are a procrastinator, if you're someone who puts things off, especially if you're someone who puts things off that are damaging, things off that are dysfunctional, and if you put off fixing them, if you put off like working on them, if you put off giving attention to it, then what it's going to do is going to backfire on you, and you're not going to be able to bounce back if you continue to let this happen, because you're going to become a victim. You can become someone that's victimized by it, and you don't want to be victimized by it. You want to be someone who is victorious in it. You want to be someone who is dynamic in it, someone who's powerful, and that's going to be about your powerful response. So have a powerful response, and the key to a powerful response is, first of all, don't be a procrastinator. Procrastinator puts off something that you can do today. You have to challenge that thought. Why am I going to put it off tomorrow? Why do tomorrow what I can do today? That's how I overcame procrastination in my life. Why should I do it tomorrow if I can get it done today? That was the first thing I had in my mind. And what I call that is a compelling standard. Procrastination is always overcome by a compelling standard. And if you establish standards in your life that compel you, that make you move, that make you stand up, that make you get going, it will literally transform your life. It will change your life. You don't allow things to be put off. Why should I put that off till tomorrow when I can get it done today? I'm just going to procrastinate today to put it on my calendar tomorrow when I'm going to procrastinate tomorrow, because I just really am not being honest with the fact that I have a low standard here. And I need to raise my standard. I need to have a compelling standard to overcome procrastination. And when I realize this is I have standards. Now, people go, how do I overcome procrastination? Well, the key is set a standard that's so high that it gives you a greater emotion to get it fixed and do something about it, rather than sit around and procrastinate on it. Procrastination is a feeling. I want you to know, procrastination is not just a mindset, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of it's a relief. It's a temporary relief. And that temporary relief only sets up anxiety for tomorrow. And you keep compiling that temporary relief, keep putting it on. It's gonna endanger your focus. It's gonna endanger your activity. It's gonna endanger your ability to distribute energy in its proper directions. And so you want to make sure that you stay in this place where you are having higher standards. Well, I don't know about high standards. You've got to be someone who raises standards in your life. If you wait for someone else to raise a standard in your life, it's going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to look for relief. If all of your standards are based upon someone else's standards, you're going to look for relief. You're going to look for procrastination. Procrastination is a good opportunity. You'll do it. You would do it if someone else was there watching you. But since someone's not watching you, you're going to procrastinate. That's a low standard. Raise your standard. When you raise your standard, it keeps these enemies of chaos away. Raise your standard. It keeps the strategies against your life. And I know that you think, well, it's strategy. There's strategies that gravity is a strategy that helps people who want to jump, right? You have to fight gravity to jump. If you want to get higher, you've got to push against gravity stronger, with more force, with more dictation, more determination. You've got to push against it. And so you've got to be set up in a position where you're saying, you know what? I don't want broken window syndrome in my life. I don't want to allow things to be lingering that is going to attract to it another rock. I don't want to allow things to be lingering that's going to attract to it another negative circumstance. I can stack up positive circumstances, or I can string up negative circumstances. And I'm going to stack up positive circumstances by setting standards. So if you set a standard, where you want to live, how you want to live, how you want to eat. Well, I want to lose weight. But if you don't set a standard on how you're going to eat, then you'll never lose weight. If you don't set a standard on how you're going to use your energy, move your body, if you don't set a standard there, you'll never lose weight. If you don't set a standard of where you want to live, then you'll never change your place of living. You have to set a standard. Standards are things that people feel uncomfortable with. People that achieve always have higher standards. And the higher your standards go, and that standard should activate more action and more activity to executing that standard. The standard is not just I have a high standard and you just keep everyone else to it. The high standard is really for you. Don't put it on anyone else. Let your actions, let your reward, let your resolve, let your results be the standard for other people to watch. And if they come to you for coaching after they see your standard, then that's okay. Then they can come to you and you can say, let me put my standard in front of you, and you can choose whether or not this is your standard. But don't put your standard on other people, because a part of procrastination is putting that standard on other people and getting them to take action and you not taking action. You take action. You give yourself the action that's necessary to become that achiever, become that person who's going to overcome, is going to accomplish. And when you do that, you'll be that person who is able to say to someone else, yes, I can help you. I can help you achieve. I can help you overcome. This is for anyone that is thinking about what you're achieving, what you're accomplishing. There's going to be people that are attracted to you that you may want to coach them. And that's going to be the key. In this season, we don't want to just teach what we heard. We want to teach what we know, what we've accomplished, what we've achieved, what we've overcome. And when we teach that, when we train that, when we help other people, we mentor them, then you become someone who's making a solid impact. And you're taking that chaos syndrome, that syndrome of broken window syndrome, and you're breaking that, because the standard that happens across the board is when someone fixes their window, then someone else looks and says, I'm going to fix my window too. And when someone else over there fixes the window, someone else fixed their window. Now, the way I fixed my window, I had no idea how to get my window fixed. I had no idea who to call. I'd never done that before. The last window we had that was cracked, I just went and replaced the whole windshield. And I didn't have time for it. We didn't have time for it. And so I thought, well, I want to get this done. My next door neighbor had something happen to his window, and there was a truck that came up, and it was called Clear Choice. And this truck came up, and I thought, what is he doing? He's doing something in the window. If he's doing windows, I'm going to go and look. And I went in and I Googled, I was looking, I was busy with something else. So I didn't have a chance to go and talk to the person. But I found out who it was. And then I called them over, and they came over and they fixed it within 20 minutes, just like this. And I said, I can't tell that there was anything that ever happened to it. He goes, that's good news. Thank you. And so I gave him a big tip. I gave him, his name is Brandon. I gave him a big tip because I wanted him to know that you helped me out, buddy. Not only did you help me out by fixing my window, but you helped me out by setting my standard again. I lowered my standard, and it attracted to that window something else. And it attracted to it another chaos, another challenge, another problem, another situation. I don't know how the whole law works, but the fact is, I noticed whenever I refuse to procrastinate on something and set a standard there, and set a standard that compels me to move, compels me to action, not a standard that just says, okay, I have a standard there and this is what I normally would do. And oh my goodness, I just don't know. I'm just going to I know it's supposed to fix it. I know it's supposed to be better. That's not the standard. The standard goes, ooh, I hate this. I got to fix this now. I just can hardly even sleep. Every time I got in the car, I was driving the car and my eyes would go right through that one little chip. And then the next time I got in, after that second chip, my eyes went like a split like this when I'm driving down the road. And I want, that standard was messing me up because I knew I was procrastinating. I knew I was holding back. And some of it was ignorance. I needed to know. But fortunately, my next door neighbor was the one that was able to show me the standard because I saw him living it. And when I saw him living it, I decided to raise my standard to his lifestyle. And so that's what we did. And that's what we do. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to help so many people. You're going to help so many people by setting your standard. Fix your window. Fix your window. Whatever it is that's broken, fix it. You can do it. You can find it. You can find some kind of avenue. You'll see it. It will open your eyes. I mean, I can go into so many other teachings on the RAS. The moment you set it as a high standard, it becomes a goal. Your brain starts to look for solutions and you start to recognize what's around you. If I didn't have a broken window, I probably would have never recognized the van, right? So my RAS factor, because my standard was eating at me and it was messing with me and was compelling me to do something, then I noticed that there was something right across the way. And I probably noticed this several times because he said he was there several times. He had to fix it twice. He had to do two different things. I only saw it once. It was probably because of my compelling standard. And procrastination will be overcome when you set a standard so so wonderful. It doesn't have to be high. It just has to be better. It doesn't high standards. I like high standards because I do want to climb higher. But sometimes you can create a standard so high that it's too high for you to climb. You want to set a better standard. And as you're setting a better standard, you'll get to that one, then set a better standard and set a better standard. So when you do that, you'll live in a wonderful life, an exciting life, a life full of energy, and a life full of feeling like I've accomplished something because you're getting things done instead of putting things off. This is today your Barrier Buster coaching moment. I want to encourage you. You can set a standard that is compelling you, that's going to move you to action. And you're going to love taking action because when you take action, you get the results you want. And when you have that, you have the lifestyle you want. You have the life that you want to live.